The weekend is almost here. Do you have any interesting plans? If it's a dingle day, maybe you can go out and meet some friends. If not, you can catch up on some gonk. Much needed fod plod could be a good choice as well. If you understand what I mean, then you're part of an exclusive club of linguists. I'm referring to the researchers in Antarctica. Antarctica is the coldest and one of the least inhabited continents in the world. It has only a few settlements made up of scientists and support staff. And they're so isolated from the rest of the world that their accents are changing, and now they're even speaking a whole new language. Here's a report.
This is Antarctica, a bleak, dark and remote place. This is the coldest continent on the planet, also the least inhabited, the only continent with no permanent human habitation. But this doesn't mean that Antarctica has no humans. It does have some settlements in the form of research stations. There are only a handful of bases. They are scattered across the 14 million square kilometer frozen landscape, and they are a temporary home to scientists and support staff. They live in Antarctica for some parts of the year, usually on a rotating basis. During this time, they brave the conditions, they work, eat and socialize while almost totally cut off from the world. And this changes how they speak. A new study is out, a world-first study into colloquial Antarctic language, and it shows that the so-called winterers have developed their own language. It's a unique colloquialism with a baffling array of words that won't make much sense to anyone who's not a regular in Antarctica. Instead of sleep, people say gonk. Instead of cleaning, they say gash. A clear blue sky day becomes dingle day, and picking up rubbish is called fod plod. These are only a few of many such words. They sound bizarre, but we aren't making this up. This language cropped up as happenstance. There's not much science behind it, except some logic. For instance, the fod in fod plod refers to foreign object debris. Well, you can trust a scientist to come up with that. There's another fascinating development. Amid all this conversing, people's accents are changing. During their stint in Antarctica, people have limited entertainment. They mostly only talk to each other. To speak to anyone in the outside world, satellite phone calls are required, which are quite expensive and are mostly avoided. And when the winterers talk to each other, something primitive happens. They memorize each other's speech, which influences their own speech production. Research bases in Antarctica consist of people from across the world. The common language is English, but the accents differ. So speakers infect each other with their pronunciations. Now, this is known to us through an Antarctic study. This experiment is the first of its kind. But the result is not entirely surprising. It has happened innumerable times throughout history. As groups of people become cut off from others, their accents, dialects, and languages diversify. This tells us why American English differs from British English. On a larger scale, this still happens in many cities where multiple cultures come together to produce their own dialects and accents. We see this in Europe due to its high levels of migration. For instance, over the past few years, a new kind of German is being spoken in Berlin. A new Swedish dialect is emerging in Stockholm as well. And this is bound to happen, which is also what makes language fun. It's not only fluid, but uniting. So, no matter how disconnected Antarctica remains, it retains linguistic traits with the world.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.